Okay, so how to fit in at networking events. Potentially you have a networking event coming up, and just the thought of being there, speaking to people you don't know, is like causing social anxiety or something. Right now you're like, maybe you're a bit shy, you don't really like whatever conversation with random people. I'm going to give you 3 tactics in this video which you can use. Just follow these exactly. These are like actual steps in ridiculous detail. Follow exactly what I'm saying, and you're going to fit in perfectly at this networking event. And you're going to find that people just naturally start like liking you and enjoying spending time with you, and just like enjoy your conversation, and they enjoy meeting you because of the tactics I'm going to mention. Okay, so I'm going to go through these 3 tactics now. Right, number 1, when you get there, you need to target someone who's on their own. Okay, so when you get there at the networking event, probably there will already be some people there. Like let's just say like you like arrive from 9 till 10, like the first talk at the networking event's at 10, you arrive at 9:30, but half the people are going to be there, right? The way it's going to be is there's going to be some groups which are formed, people in groups already talking. There's going to be a few people who are literally standing there completely on their own, okay? And I can literally guarantee they're always going to have the same body language, right? What's that body language? It's like sort of paranoid, like panicked NPC body language, right? Because you can just tell they are not present in the moment, okay? They are inside here overthinking in their head. What are they thinking? They're thinking, oh my God, I've got no one to talk to. This is so awkward. I don't know what to do. Like, where should I put my hands? Do I put my hands in my pockets? Do I put like, do you know what I mean? This was where I was. This was like the exact level that I was at, like beforehand. It's sorted out now. It's just like I don't have to worry about it too much. But what you do is you target them because they are going to be easy conversation, okay? Because they're in their head overthinking, basically thinking, oh, this is so awkward. I have no one to talk to. Right, doing their body language with their hands in their pockets and all that sort of thing. What you do is, you see one of these people, you go straight up to them. Those are who the people you want to target in this networking event. Because number 1, they are going to be really interested in you and really like you, okay? Because they've been standing there being worried about having no one to talk to. And then suddenly it's like this person comes along, literally like a savior. You'll actually find that they actually start being really like enthusiastic with you because they've been like so worried before, and then all of a sudden you've suddenly saved them from the embarrassment of standing on their own, and like now they have someone to talk to. Okay, so go up to them. Reason 1, it's just going to be like a really easy, there's going to be such low friction. It's going to be an easy conversation because they're going to straight away start talking and talking because they've had no one to talk to, right? And the reason number 2 for this is just because it's a bit more difficult to integrate yourself into a group at a networking event. Because if, like, as I said, the groups have already formed, it's a bit difficult to integrate yourself. So it's easier to just go to people who are on their own. However, wait to the end of the video because I'm going to cover the best way of integrating yourself into a group, which is like already begun. I'll explain that later. But just now, let's continue. So step 1, go to someone who's on their own. Step 2, ask them questions. Okay, this is the number 1 way for people to have a good conversation. It's when they get to talk about themselves. So imagine we had a conversation in real life right now and you asked me about like, oh, and how's YouTube going? I'd be like, oh yeah, doing this, and you're like, oh, what's like the best videos you've had recently? What were they? And I'm like, oh yeah, so it was this one did really well, and this one I wasn't even expecting to, and it did well. And then you ask me like, what's like the worst thing that's happened in the last 6 months? Where's your low point been? I'd be like, oh yeah, so in January like this thing happened, I had to do this. And like, what's the project you're working on? So yeah, I'm working on this project to help people in September 20. Like that's, I would have a really good conversation because I get to just speak about myself. Okay, everyone is the same. If they get to speak about their own life, their own like interest, their own what they're working on, they are going to have such a lovely conversation. Okay, even if you're not saying anything. That's why you don't even have to go to people with like a specific, I'm going to say this. Just literally ask them questions. So go up to this person, that's step number 1. Step number 2, just ask them questions. Obviously at the start, like, oh, hi, good to meet you. What's your name? Handshake, right? But then stuff like, oh, what company are you from? Why are you here? Obviously it will depend on the context for like what you actually need to ask them. But just ask them a couple of introductory questions and then just start digging in deeper. So maybe they say, oh, I've just started a degree apprenticeship at this company. Then go in and be like, oh, okay, so why did you do a degree apprenticeship? Oh, were your parents okay with that decision? And then they'll just be talking about it. Oh, your parents weren't okay. How did you convince them to do it? Oh, and did you find it difficult getting into a degree apprenticeship? Oh no, it was okay because you went on YouTube and searched this guy called the Apprenticeship Okay, right, that's how it works. You literally, they're talking, you ask just follow-up questions, follow-up questions, follow-up questions, keep just digging into it, asking loads of questions. They're going to get to talk about themselves and they're just going to love it. Right, because they're talking about themselves. That's just how it works. Okay, like you can imagine this with you. Imagine like I ask you about what you're working on, like what you like doing, like your favourite Netflix show, whatever. You just be able to talk loads. And you'd be like, yo, that was a good conversation. Because you got to talk about something you're interested in. If like I'm just talking about some random thing that I care about, then you wouldn't care. It's like if I had a conversation with you and I just randomly started talking about my like YouTube off note, you wouldn't even care, right? But if like I asked you about your interests of what you like, you'd have a great conversation, okay? So that is step number 2, go up to them and ask questions. Step number 3 is be the first person to leave. Basically, this is leave them wanting more, okay? This is straight away gonna present you as like an important person, a more likable, but like this is very like deep, like social dynamic stuff right now, which is like probably you are interested in this, which is why you're watching this video. Don't stay talking to this one person for the whole day, right? Because to be honest, they actually would talk to you for the whole day. I'm going to be honest. They would happily sit next to you at lunch, do this, talk to you for the entire day, right? Because as I said from the start, you're literally, in their eyes, you're perceived as like some sort of hero because you saved them because they were standing all awkwardly on their own. And then you literally came up and like you were the one person who decided to talk to them. They would happily stay with you the whole time. Like in their eyes, you're their friend because you came up to them. However, what you want to do is you want to be like the important person in the room, act as like the person who needs to go around and talk to everyone, not just one person. Okay, so go up to this person, ask them questions for a bit, and then however long it is, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, then be the person to initiate. Like, okay, I'm gonna go and talk to someone else now. Obviously, don't just say I'm gonna go and talk to someone else who's better than you. Do you know what I mean? But it's like all you have to say is something like, you know what, it's been really good to meet you. I want to make sure I get around as many people as I can today, but it was a really good conversation. And like, hopefully I'll see you around in the afternoon. Literally say that, they'll be like, they're going to completely understand. Maybe you do like a handshake with them again or whatever you want to do. Do that and then go and just repeat the same process. Walk away, look for someone who's on their own, go for them, ask questions. They're going to have a really good conversation. You're going to leave. As you leave, straight away, there's a power dynamic there of like, you look kind of important, like the way you're like going around the room and like talking to everyone, and like no one's getting enough time as they want with you. Like these people would happily like continue a conversation for like another hour because they're having such a good time, but it's like you're sort of leaving them wanting more. It's like presenting you as like an important person that people want to be around. Just think of something that's really abundant, right? So for example, bread. Okay, let's say bread. There's bread absolutely everywhere. Okay, you can go in any shop, get bread. It's fairly cheap. Loaf of bread, I don't know, like £1 or something, right? £2. Super cheap. Okay, what about gold or diamond? Think how like scarce those resources are. There's probably like only however many tons of diamond in the world. Whereas like bread, there's just loads of it. Do you know what I mean? There's no one's gonna pay like $10 million for like a bread that big, right? Are they? But it's like a diamond, which is that big, a diamond gem, people would pay $10 million for that because it's scarcity versus abundance, okay? It's the exact same in this networking event. If you want to be viewed highly and like people like you and like you seem important, you're leaving a good impression. This isn't even like some selfish stuff like, oh, I want to be the most important person in the room. That's not why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because likely at a networking event, whatever it is, you want to leave a good impression. You want to like, I don't know, if it's a networking event to get a job, you want to be the person who gets the job. Or if it's like a networking event once you're already in a job and it's just like a sort of company networking event, you want to just leave a good impression so people like, maybe they speak to you in future opportunities, all that sort of thing. This is about leaving a good impression. It's not going to be as good of an impression when you like stay with them for so long. You know, you give them abundance. You literally give them like 3 hours of your time and eventually the conversation sort of wears out. You want to leave before the conversation wears out. You only give someone like 10 minutes, 20 minutes at a time and then you're gone. It makes your time valuable. It presents you as an important person and it leaves a good impression. Okay, so that's this abundance versus scarcity. Don't just give them like 4 hours of your time with the same person. Basically, literally go in, short conversation, then be like, you know what, it's been really good talking to you. What I want to do is I want to make sure I get around everyone and talk to as many people as you can. I think I'm going to like go over to there's this one like assessor here who like said he was going to be available at this time. It's been really good talking to you. I hope I see you in the afternoon. Cheers. And then you go and do the exact same thing. Okay, that is the tactic. Rinse and repeat that. Someone who's on their own, ask questions, leave early. Someone who's on their own, ask questions, leave early. That is how you do it. And that is the number one way to like fit in a networking event and like leave a good impression, basically at a networking event. That's like the end goal of a networking event, is to leave a good impression. This is a really good way of leaving a good impression. So there's going to be loads of people who've had short conversations with you, and they're going to remember and be like, that guy was super cool. That guy had I had a really good conversation with him, but then he had to go. I think he had something important to do or something. Okay, so that is the best way of fitting in and leaving a good impression at a networking event, is those 3 tactics. I said at the start that I was going to also do how to integrate a group. Actually, because this video is getting long, I'm going to do that in a separate video. That's going to be the next video I upload. If it's already uploaded, you can click here. Otherwise, subscribe. Hope this video has helped. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.